The true history of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world and the symbol of India. History remembers it as a monument dedicated to love. But what if it was not? What if this ancient architectural wonder hides secrets known only to a few, and the Maqbar, or mausoleum, was simply a description given to it by those who knew what it really was? But what are these secrets? How do they affect the people of India today? Welcome back to Mysteries and Facts, and today we'll be traveling all the way to the 16th century, specifically to the Agra region, to unlock the secrets of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is easily the most famous and easily recognized building in India. It is located by the right bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. In the Taj Mahal, you'll find a garden, a museum, as well as twin mosque buildings that are symmetrically placed on either side of the mausoleum. For centuries, the building of the Taj Mahal has been credited to the Mughal emperor Shah Jahan, who's said to have built it in memory of his beautiful and supportive wife Mumtaz Mahal. It is said that the project was quite expensive for the time and almost rendered the entire empire bankrupt. But why go so far? Why risk the viability of the empire for a dead woman? To understand this, allow us to rewind time to the 16th century, the genesis of the Mughal Empire. The first emperor of the empire was Babur, originally named Mirza Zahir-ud-din Muhammad at birth, whose lineage could be traced to Genghis Khan, the famed leader of the Mongol Empire. It is therefore no surprise that he was able to build an empire that spanned almost the entire Indian peninsula, which today will include Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. He reigned until 1530 when he died, and was replaced by his son, Humayun. Despite trying to live up to the same stature as his father, the Mughal Empire was sent into exile in Persia during the reign of Humayun. This lasted until 1555, when they were restored and could return to their following homes. Humayun, however, died the following year, which left his beloved wife devastated. This will become the start of a tradition that will lead to the building of the Taj Mahal. Grieving her husband, Humayun's wife asked that a lavish tomb be built in honor of her husband. Having been exposed to Persian culture while in exile and seeing the magnificence of their buildings, she contracted Persian architects to build the tomb. The end result was simply elegant and magnificent. The architects built what was the first lavish tomb of any Mughal emperor, and they achieved it using red sandstone. This became a standard upon which all other tombs were built and improved. Each tomb after his simply got more complex with more expensive materials. This continued until the time of Shah Jahan, the 5th emperor of the Mughal Empire. Being an emperor, having many wives was not new to him, yet he favored and loved one more. He loved Mumtaz Mahal better than he loved any of his other wives. He met her when he was 15 and she 14, but they won't be married until 1612, which is at least 5 years after they had met. Unlike the other ladies who he married due to political arrangements, it's believed that Mahal was the lady he truly loved. It is even rumored that she was the only one he had sexual relations with. She bore him many children, 14 to be precise. And this is not surprising if the rumor is true. The birth of the 14 children was, however, plagued with many challenges, which led to her death during childbirth. As you can imagine, this was a tragedy that was going to be very difficult to recover from. It is believed that Shah Jahan died the day his wife died. Although not physically, he was no longer himself. The signs of liveliness had just disappeared from his eyes. He simply became a shadow of himself and looked much older than he really was because he was not taking care of his body as he needed to. Overcome with grief, he decided to build the biggest and most extravagant mausoleum yet in her honor by the banks of the Yamuna River in Agra. Construction is believed to have started in 1632 and was not completed until 1644. It took a total of 12 years to complete the tomb, and it was no mean feat. In that 12 years, it is estimated that at least 20,000 workers, including stonecutters, embroidery artists, and laborers, worked at the site, with over 1,000 elephants transporting raw materials from different regions, including China, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, and Arabia. Unlike the other mausoleums before it, the Taj Mahal was finished with white marble and decorated with many precious and semi-precious stones. 28 different types to be precise, which is reminiscent of both Indian and Persian Islamic culture. There were also poems and patterns from Thailand calligraphy which decorated every visible surface in the place. While the tomb was finished in 12 years, it took 10 more to completely finish the project, as the tomb itself was surrounded by gardens and pools of water, among others, which together make up the complex Taj Mahal. In total, the whole project took 22 years and cost around 32 million rupees, which then in today's currency is 70 billion rupees or $1 billion US. As you can already tell, this was not cheap. As though the building of the Taj Mahal had taken a toll on the resources of the empire, Shah Jahan planned to build a second for himself just across the river from his wife's, decorated with black marble. His son, however, overthrew him before then, and kept him locked up in the castle, because his obsession with the mausoleum had made him a shadow of the leader he once was. Shah Jahan's reign would end up lasting from 1628 to 1658. He remained where he was imprisoned until he died, and was reunited with his beloved wife. Given that the tomb was originally built for his wife, he had no place in it, and his addition broke the perfect symmetry that the Taj Mahal had been characterized by. If you haven't clicked the like or subscribe button already, this might be a good time to do so. Coming back, today the Taj Mahal records an average of 7 million tourists per year, which is wild when you think about it. That is roughly an average of 19,662 tourists per day, and this statistic is expected to have increased. Yep, definitely wild. But is this the true history of the Taj Mahal? Some disagree. They believe that the popular and widely accepted account of the history of the Taj Mahal is a hoax. P.N. Oak, a historian, and one who is considered an authority figure on this subject, is one of the few that attempted to correct this hoax. In fact, Oak is credited with starting the modern movement to establish the Taj Mahal as a Hindu temple. In the year 2000, a case was filed in India's Supreme Court to have it declare that the Taj Mahal was actually a Hindu temple based on his work. But it was thrown out. The case was picked up again in 2017, but it still fared no better, because although some strongly believe that the Taj Mahal is a Hindu temple, many in authority did not share the sentiment. But which of these sides is right? Let's examine the evidence. Oak argues that the Taj Mahal is not the tomb of Queen Mumtaz at all, but an ancient temple palace of Lord Shiva, which was originally called the Taj Mahal. This is not, however, based on a whim or wishful thinking. He's researched this topic extensively and believes that his findings are accurate. Back in the day, it was normal for Muslim rulers to use captured temples and mansions as the burial place of important people such as royalty and dead courtiers. This is what Oak believes happened with the Taj Mahal. And he even goes as far as to argue that former rulers of the empire, including Emperor Humayun, were all buried in such mansions. This goes against what has already been established and accepted as history concerning the Taj Mahal. If you were paying attention, you would realize that I stated the wife of Emperor Humayun had buried him in a tomb she built herself out of love for him. Oakes thinks that's a hoax. The Badshahama, the official and royal chronicles of Emperor Shah Jahan, states that he bought the land from Jai Singh I, a senior general of the empire, because of a grand mansion that was on it. He then remodeled it into the Taj Mahal we see today in memory of his wife, and as her final resting place. Sounds far-fetched, but many in India, especially among the Hindu, do believe it. Oakes also states that the name given to the tomb was illogical based on the Muslim naming conventions, or how they typically name their tombs. Based on data from the research on Mumtaz, it was discovered that her actual name is Mumtaz al-Zamani, and not Mumtaz Mahal. Even if it was Mumtaz Mahal, the first 3 letters of the woman's name, which in this case of Mumtaz is M-U-M, are not ignored when naming the building after a lady. Based on this, it can be stated that it was unlikely that the term Taj Mahal is based on the name of Shah Jahan's beloved wife. Beyond that, the term Mahal has never been used to name a building in the Islamic nation, which led Oakes to believe it was a corruption of the name Taj Mahal. If that is the case, which it is believed to be, then the place is no doubt a temple of Lord Shiva. According to those who believe this, aka Oakes and his followers, the history we have come to know is a fairy tale created by court sycophants, blundering historians, and sloppy archaeologists. This claim's not baseless, as the underlying love story which serves as the basis of the building for the Taj Mahal cannot be found in the royal chronicles of Shah Jahan that existed at the time. Aside from these intellectual arguments, the carbon dating of some of the doors at the Taj Mahal suggests that it could be much older than the stories have said it is. The carbon dating reveals that it could be at least 300 years older than originally stated, which makes it much older than the empire. The carbon dating was carried out by Professor Marvin Miller in the USA, which should kill any arguments of the results being biased or favor Oakes and his sympathizers. To add credence to Oakes' arguments, Jahan Albert Mandeleslo, who was a European traveler, visited Agra 7 years after Mumtaz's death. He documented everything on his trip, but the building of the Taj Mahal did not show up in any of his notes. If there was such a magnificent building project going on, there is no way he would have not documented it, unless nothing was being built. There's no way such a big project will not show up in the memoirs of a traveler. He's not the only one who traveled there and reported nothing. Peter Mundy, an Englishman who visited Agra a year after Mumtaz's death, also wrote nothing concerning a building project. Beyond this, the design of the Taj Mahal resonates more with a typical Hindu temple than it does with a mausoleum. Individuals like Sir W. W. Hunter, E. B. Havel, and Miss Knoyer have also stated that the architecture of the Taj Mahal has more features consistent with a Hindu temple more than it does a mausoleum. First of all, the ground plans of the ancient Hindu Chandi Seva temple, which can be found in Java, is very identical to that of the Taj Mahal. The central dome with cupolas at its four corners and the four marble pillars at the plinth of the corners are all reminiscent of Hindu temple designs. The Taj Mahal also has an octagonal shape, which is strongly affiliated with Hinduism. Hindus are the ones who had special names for the 8 directions and typically assigned celestial guards to them. The trident at the pinnacle is also heavily related to Hindu culture. A replica of this trident is also found inland, in the eastern redstone courtyard of the Taj Mahal. The interpretation given has always been that it depicts the Islamic crescent, but that is not very accurate. While the pinnacle of the dome may have the word Allah on it, the replica does not, which could only mean the one in the dome was placed there after capture. There's still one more puzzling detail. There's no official record of the specific date Mumtaz died, as well as the date she was ceremoniously buried in the Taj Mahal. Why is this important? If her death and burial in the Taj Mahal are as dramatic and lavish as it has been made to be, there would have been records of it in the King's Chronicles or the court's journals as well. Her date of death is, however, not the only thing not recorded. The cost of the project was also not recorded, and the estimations that exist today have been nothing but guesswork. If the project was as important as stated, and affected the empire as much as it has been described to have done, there would have been official records, but none have been found so far. There are also rooms that are sealed in the Taj Mahal since Shah Jahan's time, which Oakes believed, once opened, will put an end to this debate. He believes these rooms probably contain objects used for worship in Hindu temples, as well as a headless statue of Lord Shiva. Although many have requested that these doors are opened, the authorities have denied them access and refused to open them. No matter how you look at it, this is suspicious. Even more puzzling is the fact that where the Taj Mahal is currently situated used to be a central location where Shiva was worshipped in ancient times. Even to this day, there are some who still worship at Shiva's shrines before taking their last meals. The Vishwakarma Vastu Shastra, a famous Hindu treatise on architecture, mentions one Taj Linga, which was consecrated in Agra. It is only logical that anyone who reads this raises eyebrows at the Taj Mahal. The ideology that it took 22 years to build is based on the notes by the French visitor Tavernier. The original records of Shah Jahan do not state this. His son, Prince Aurangzeb, wrote to him once stating the burial place of his mum, Mumtaz, needed repairs. He stated that the 7-storied building was old and leaking, and its dome had developed a crack on the northern side. In this letter, he even stated that he will carry out the repairs using personal resources. If you think about this, it will not make sense for a freshly built building to be described like this and need repairs, unless it was built during a much earlier time and it was only remodeled as a burial place for Mumtaz. To add to this, the white marble was requested for and sent to Jai Singh within 2 years of Mumtaz's death. If we are to stick to the timeline of 22 years, it should have been sent between the 15th to 20th year, and not immediately after she died. Unless the building was already there and they simply had to remodel and beautify it according to their standards. Despite all this evidence, the Archaeological Survey of India has explicitly stated that there is no evidence to support the claims of Oakes and his sympathizers. Being so sure he was right, Oakes pursued this to the end of his life, but it only left him discredited, with him even being referred to as a propagandist and not a true historian. His book, The Taj Mahal, The True Story, has also been downplayed as not being factual. You're now probably wondering, if all of these are true, why isn't it being accepted? Why are court cases being thrown out? Why isn't the government getting involved? This is probably due to the religious and political nature of the whole thing, and fears of what it might lead to once these findings are accepted and upheld. If something of yours was stolen, you won't be happy, much less when it's a temple of none other than your god, Shiva. The Hindus are not particularly happy about this, and the fact that the temple is credited to Shah Jahan, someone who was determined to wipe out Hindus and establish Islam in the region, adds salt to injury. The government has reduced this to nothing more than a political and religious campaign. Despite the efforts of the Hindus to claim their temple, it seems as though it may never happen, as nobody in authority is taking them seriously. But what do you think? Do you believe the first story that it was built to immortalize love? Or does the argument that it is a remodeled Hindu temple seem more logical to you? Kindly share with us in the comments. But personally, I do believe that it is indeed a remodeled Hindu temple. The evidence cannot lie. If you liked today's video and want more, kindly like the video and hit the subscribe button. The next video will be sure to blow you away.